And welcome back to the final episode of Sonic Mania with me, Matthew Caddis, aka Puggy. Yeah, this is going to be the final episode of at least the main game before I eventually take on Encore mode. And we are going to look at the final level, Titanic Monarch Zone, in which there are a load of traps. This makes Death Egg look like a walk in the park by comparison, seriously. I do mean the one from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Basically, firstly we have the return of the bouncy thingies from, dare I say, Crumb Gadget. A two-player stage that I didn't think to expect to be expanded upon, but I'm glad it is. The return of the giant balls from, dare I say, well, I'm not sure actually. Well, never mind that. As for the badniks, we have these annoying flying badniks that will try and entrap you unless you try and escape them, which Sonic is fast enough to do, really. And also some badniks that walk along the ground that if you're not careful, will electrocute you. And these badniks that also use seemingly wind. We'll get to that. Also, the return of the Eggrobos, it seems, but this time they are self-destructing because, of course, the as we will see in Act 2, the main power units for this gigantic mech that we are currently in is actually the Hard Boiled Heavies. Yes, seriously, it is. Another thing of note, I love the music, seriously. For both acts, actually. First act sounds kind of like the Sonic version of the Imperial March from Star Wars. Seriously, that's what it reminds me of. And why not? There's even Eggman flanks and the return, seemingly, of Ball Hogs, a badnik we have not seen since Sonic 1. Seriously, and they behave exactly the same. Hell, there's even a similar segment to in Scrap Brain Zone with them in it, except there's a lot more of them. Seriously. But yeah. Another thing of note though, you see these electrical currents there. If you have the electric shield, you can actually use it to ride upwards. However, there may be some spikes above you. Not in that case here, but in some other cases there might be. So yeah. But yeah. This is us just getting up to the top of the gigantic, dare I say, Death Egg robot here, seriously. But there you go. And yes, I have got the music in my head. And there's the example of what happens if you let those flying badniks actually get near you. The way to avoid them, other than spin dashing, I suppose, is to actually jump on them. If you can get to them, that is. So yeah. Other than that, yeah, this is going to be quite fun. Yeah, of course it is. As for the next game, if I do even cover it, will be Sonic Forces. It is one of my least favourite games, certainly modern games anyway. I'd much rather play Sonic Lost World than that. Anyway, that being said, yeah. Also, these things return from, dare I say it, Death Egg Zone as well. Those floating long platforms which go down depending on where you balance Sonic's weight and everything. But never mind that. Also, this being the final stage, there are two endings you can get here. One is with the Chaos Emeralds, and one was without. So yeah, think of it like, I guess with Sonic 1 in a way, but also with Sonic 2, because with Sonic 2 at least, you when you got to the end of the Death Egg Zone in that stage, Sonic wouldn't always come floating down to Earth with the Chaos Emeralds. Although the ending with this one is a bit more stark, because it kind of leads into Forces, if you know what I mean. For those who have actually played Mania to the end, they'll know what I mean. It's a shame that Forces is so shit. But I'll get to that. If I ever do Forces, I might not. Go on. Still recording Sonic Frontiers, and I'm enjoying that game a lot more than Forces. Bosses and all, but I'll get to that. This segment can be a bit of a pain because of how fast the side platforms move, if you know what I mean. And there's no way for Sonic to get across there with a jump. And you can fall down easily as well. That is a thing as well. Yep, it is. Other than that, let's see. The music's in my head though, which is not a bad thing. As I say, I love T-Lope's music for Mania. Right now we get to the Act 1 boss, which is largely the same as the Death Egg Zone Act 1 boss as well. The only downside is that we do not have the usage yet, at least, of the Insta-Shield, which may help you cheese the boss. However, in the second half of the fight, once we've destroyed all these round cylinders here, what will happen is that, unlike with the boss, it switches things up a bit. And we'll, kind of like with the Hydro City boss, although it's member berry phase, shall we say, is more in the first half. So in the second half, what will happen, it will float around, yes, but it won't generate any platforms. Instead, what will happen, it will use the power of gravity to influence how high all those Sonic and Tails jump. So yeah, while in the middle, it will cling to the top or the bottom of the arena and pretty much shoot fireballs at you. Other than that, yeah, you can also spin dash into him if you're able to time it right. Not easy. When he's come to the top though, and you don't have much gravity, that's going to be hard, especially with the turrets there. Seriously. I can't even tell if I'm damaging it or not, seriously, due to my Elgato not doing it so well. Oh well, with the end of that, we are actually on a lift. Yes, believe it or not, this is the lift that leads us into the gigantic Death Egg robot that's seemingly we're going into. And now we finally go up into said robot. Yep, that's the thing. And we go into Act 2. And the inside of the robot is, let's say it's very gimmicky because there are certain areas that are generated by the Phantom Ruby. I'll get to that. But for now, we'll have to make our way through said robot boss. And there are loads of these spheres that generally give you a nuisance and everything. But never mind, let's continue. And these gears are back as well. Yeah, well anyway, you can see here is a giant massive purple that will lead us to this area. Basically with this area we have to go through each of the singular areas and everything to get past them, which is a lot harder than you think because make one wrong move and you end up being walked back to the area where you choose where to go, if you know what I mean. So yeah, but never mind that. You can even see the Phantom Ruby's energy beneath you while you're going through this area, which is insane, but also pretty cool actually as well. And no, I want to I don't know if I can now. Okay, let's get the platform to go upwards. I don't think I would have been able to do so, so never mind. 2 Eggman boxes there, which would have lost all my rings there. I'm not careful. Oh, my shield. This is going to be a chore, isn't it? Of course it is. I also kind of like the stained glass windows in the background, some of which depict the Hard Boiled Heavies in the background as well. More on that later when we face the final boss if we don't have the Chaos Emeralds. But never mind that. And one very annoyingly placed ball hog there. Thank you, Tails, if you saved me the annoyance of having to deal with that. Over there, we have another badnik trying to blow us off the platform. Yeah, we have them doing it sideways as well. Other than that, you can also see in the background the Chaos Emeralds. Seriously, a hint to what you have to do to get to the final boss, really. But, yeah. Other than that, spin dash and get stuck in a roll. Yay! No, I do not want to go backwards. Do I? What do I do? You can see an area full of the thing. In fact, yeah. Once you complete an area, what will happen is that the area will become cordoned off and everything, and you can go to the next area. If you're quick, you can do it very quickly. I am not a very quick gamer, if you can tell, when it comes to 2D Sonic games, including Mania. So yeah, so this will take me a while, I'm afraid, including being boosted back by the Phantom Ruby's energy, of course. And yeah, just figuring out where to go is going to be a chore, especially since you wouldn't think to go up that to that one little platform with the spikes on, thinking it would generate a spring, but it does. It honestly does. And another Eggrobo there. Honestly, I kind of feel sad for the Eggrobos. They're just left to become, left to explode. I mean, yeah, I know the Hard Boiled Heavies used to be, like, Eggrobos and stuff, I guess are, but given a bit more of, a coat of paint, shall we say, and new abilities and everything. So, that's something. In this area, we'll have to be flung off to the right here, and, get past a bunch of those capture badniks and everything. Thankfully, the whole section is enough to get past them at least. Other than that, yay. I can't fling over there. Fling myself over there, should I say. I think where I want to go is towards that area down there. It's very hard to aim for from the position I was in there. Seriously, but never mind that. And why am I slow rolling here? This is not Sonic 3D Blast. Seriously. Oh, they don't even mention 3D Blast in this game. Probably because it's not a Sonic Team game. It was made by Traveler's Tales. I mean, yeah, it wasn't my favorite in this on the Mega Drive, but it's certainly not the worst 90s Sonic game, dare I say. I think that one would go to Sonic Labyrinth. But anyway, let's go through here and to the right here, and we don't want to fling ourselves through the spikes, I don't think. Although I did get hurt on those spikes. Instead, I want to go down here, and that's the way you're supposed to go. Another thing there, and that's that. So now that leaves only one, the one on the upper left. And let's see, if this is the one I think it is, I'm going to be in for a world of hurt. Excuse my editing, I think that's just how my recording came out, I'm afraid. So yeah. For this bit, you'll have to move to the right there, because otherwise, I think I'll just get stuck. Which is a thing, most definitely. Yeah, because if I jumped, Sonic would have most definitely had to do that bit again, I think. Or he would have died and had to go back to the checkpoint, which is not something I want to do, mind. And more ball hogs, yay! Those giant cogs honestly behave like in Metropolis Zone as well. Seriously. And you can get crushed easily here as well. Seriously. I am not going for that giant ring saver thingy. No thank you. I think I know better than to try and completely risk my life that way. Even though I have like 2 rings left. Okay, maybe I'm down to like, okay, 5 rings. Fine. very respectable. Let's continue and crash into the wall, of course, and head down here, and then spin dash again. And then that's the whole bit completed. Now what will happen is that a giant portal will emerge, and indeed we will face Eggman. And in this boss, this one is interesting because of how Eggman moves. Firstly, because he's surrounded by 4 tentacles, and he is using the Phantom Ruby. Keep that in mind for when you destroy or when you attack him, because what will happen is he'll bounce around the arena, then he'll start electrocuting you using the tentacles, and then you'll spin dash into him. On his second go, he will launch some missiles at you. They are somewhat telegraphed as well, so that's good. Then what will happen after 2 goes at you, Eggman will generate these giant hands and he'll send you off to deal with one of the, dare I say, Hard Boiled Heavies. In this case, it's Heavy Gunner. With Heavy Gunner, you just send his blue missiles back at him. Honestly, he's still annoying, his Heavy Gunner. So yeah, and thank you, Tails, for destroying one of them. Each of the tentacles represents a fight with one of the Hard Boiled Heavies, believe it or not. So yeah. And other than that, yeah. If you destroy one of them, you don't have to fight said Hard Boiled Heavy. So who's the next Hard Boiled Heavy? It is Heavy Shinobi, and what he will do is bounce around the arena like a giant shuriken, I guess. And once he explodes, I guess he will pretty much be vulnerable there. It doesn't matter if you don't destroy all the Hard Boiled Heavies, but it can be done. I've managed to kill off Heavy Gunner, for example, but I don't always do it. And here is the fact, is the annoyance of not having the Insta Shield. Seriously, I would have been easily able to get past the thing there. If he's further away, I like to spin dash into Eggman. Not easy, but it can be done. So who's next? It is Heavy Magician, and she will hide in one of the bells. If you get the wrong one, you get fried by the Phantom Ruby's energy. So yeah, and that leaves Heavy Rider. We'll get to her in a moment. So there we go, that's another one down, so he has only 2 tentacles left. The less tentacles he has, the easier it is to hit Eggman. So yeah. Yeah, I think that was okay. So next up is Heavy Rider. Heavy Rider is probably the hardest one of the lot, because you have to race her on her motorbug. Greatly improved, I dare say. If you step on the switch, you can actually trip Heavy Rider up if you do so. Likewise, though, you can get hit here as well. So be careful, because she has some switches on her section as well. So another spin dash. And yes, I suppose I could have jumped. Kind of stilted though, but that's not the problem with the game, really. That's more with me, really. So yeah. And you just start from the next phase. I've already destroyed 2 of them, so I don't know if it's Heavy Shinobi. Okay, no, it's Heavy Gunner. So yeah. So once again, send the things back at him. Heavy Gunner is probably the easiest of the Hard Boiled Heavies to deal with in this fight, to be honest. Note that Heavy King isn't here, and there's a reason for that. We'll actually get to that once we deal with that. So yeah, we can jump on him now. So now he's down to 1 tentacle. So who's next? We only have one. It's Heavy Shinobi again. Okay, this is going to be hard as hell because he will move around the... it's hard to tell where he's going to go first with Heavy Shinobi. Seriously. Well, never mind. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the warp so I can actually kick Eggy's ass. Seriously. I don't know where it's going to come down. Right there. No, it's moving off to the right. Fair enough. Well, he's an easy target, is Eggman. Now that he's only got one tentacle left here. But there you go. And it's much easier to dodge the missiles as well. Seriously. Okay, so again with heavy magician. I mean, I'm not even gonna try and destroy her, seriously. No point when the main target is Eggman himself. And finally, all of the tentacles are gone, meaning the Phantom Ruby pops out, and seemingly the whole place starts to explode. Sonic doesn't even bother to pick up the Phantom Ruby and instead escapes with Knuckles, and we actually get the normal ending of basically what happens is that the little planet pretty much, well, the giant Death Egg robot, shall we say, explodes, seemingly, and we see a pillar of light emanating from the little planet, and seemingly Little Planet just disappears again, and Sonic does his victory pose. So yeah, however, of course, we also see Eggman juggling the Chaos Emeralds at the very end. Sadly, no end credits medley for this one. Nope. We even see, yeah, he's juggling the Phantom Rubies, Eggman, actually. So let's get to the ending when we do have all 7 Chaos Emeralds. Yes, I got them off screen because I don't know how much I can say about special stages. So yeah, there we go. So, like before, everything starts to explode, but this time the Phantom Ruby's energy envelops the entire area, and we go to what looks like another final boss level. There's Chaos Emeralds are swirling all around. Heavy King takes the Phantom Ruby, and he and Eggman start struggling over it, if you know what I mean. Seriously. I like that even the Eggmobile is, which seemingly Heavy King wins here. So now we have to face both Eggman and the Heavy King. Honestly, in this fight, I actually like a lot more than even Doomsday Zone, because of the amount of control you have over Super Sonic here. Seriously, you do not have to have him fly all over the place. You can actually have him jump on the lower platforms, and honestly, I find that easier than just flying into Eggman. But saying that, if you do decide to fly, Sonic still does have his charge move. In fact, he moves a lot quicker than his Sonic 3 and Knuckles here. So yeah, because of course he moves a lot slower there due to the thing. Eggman will try and punch you with his giant fists, I guess. And Heavy King will try again fire off homing shots. It looks like a homing shot! Yeah, I couldn't help but make that reference. So he's less annoying than the Time Eater, I will give the Heavy King that. So yeah, this is actually quite a fun boss fight because of that. Also, Heavy King still tries to punch you with his fists as well. Seriously. So yeah, this is not the first time Eggman's had trouble with one of his creations, let's just put it that way. I like that Eggman is... and I like that this is just basically a game of hot potato with the Phantom Ruby, seriously. That's basically what it is. Also, the music's awesome. Even going to like a short instrumental bit of Fist Bump, the main theme of Sonic Forces. Unfortunately, I used too much boost up and I'm running low on rings. I mean, yeah, the rings are flying all over the place, so it's very easy to get them. And the attraction kind of works like with the electric shield, so that's good. Good thing I am sticking to the lower half, it's a bit easier for me. But yeah, Eggman, oh boy. So Eggman's down, that leaves Heavy King. And he's harder to hit because of his shield and energy blasts and everything, but yeah. And one rings here. There we go. And with that done, Sonic will charge into Eggman, thus creating a giant portal. And that brings into the thing with Sonic forces, if you will.